An expansion joint is not required where the feeder polyvinyl chloride, or PVC, merges from the ground to the home's feeder conduit. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for electrical installations in various scenarios, and the specific situation of a feeder conduit connection under a mobile home does not typically necessitate an expansion joint. Expansion joints are primarily used in conduit runs to accommodate thermal expansion and contraction of the conduit material. These joints are designed to prevent stress on the conduit and connected equipment due to temperature changes. PVC conduit, in particular, is susceptible to expansion and contraction with temperature variations. The need for expansion joints is determined by factors such as the length of the conduit run, the temperature range it will be exposed to, and the type of conduit material. The NEC provides guidance on when expansion joints are required, typically based on calculations considering these factors. In the case of a mobile home feeder conduit, the length of the PVC run from the ground to the point where it enters the home's feeder conduit is usually relatively short. Given this shorter run and the relatively stable temperature environment under a mobile home, the amount of expansion and contraction is generally not significant enough to warrant the use of an expansion joint. Furthermore, the connection point between the underground PVC and the home's feeder conduit is often flexible enough to accommodate any minor movement without causing stress in the system. It is important to ensure that the installation complies with all applicable codes and regulations. While an expansion joint may not be required, other factors should be considered to ensure a safe and reliable electrical connection. Firstly, the connection between the PVC conduit and the home's feeder conduit must be properly sealed to prevent moisture from entering the system. Secondly, the conduit should be adequately supported to prevent sagging or damage. Thirdly, the wiring within the conduit must be properly sized and insulated to handle the electrical load. To elaborate further, let's consider the specific aspects of PVC conduit and its behavior with temperature changes. PVC has a relatively high coefficient of thermal expansion compared to other conduit materials like steel or aluminum. This means that PVC expands and contracts more for a given temperature change. The amount of expansion or contraction can be calculated using the following formula: delta L equals alpha times L times delta T, where delta L is the change in length, alpha is the coefficient of thermal expansion, L is the original length, and delta T is the change in temperature. For PVC, the coefficient of thermal expansion is approximately 3.0 times 10 to the negative 5 per degree Fahrenheit. To illustrate, let's assume a 10-foot or 120-inch run of PVC conduit is subjected to a temperature change of 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Using the formula, the change in length would be delta L equals 3.0 times 10 to the negative 5 times 120 inches times 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which equals 0.18 inches. This calculation shows that even with a significant temperature change, the amount of expansion or contraction in a relatively short run of PVC is less than a quarter of an inch. In many cases, this amount of movement can be accommodated by the flexibility of the connection points and the inherent give in the conduit system. However, for longer runs of PVC, the cumulative expansion or contraction can be significant enough to cause problems. This is where expansion joints become necessary. Expansion joints are designed to absorb this movement and prevent stress on the conduit and connected equipment. They typically consist of a telescoping section that allows the conduit to expand and contract without putting strain on the system. The NEC provides guidelines on when to use expansion joints based on the length of the conduit run and the expected temperature range. These guidelines are typically found in Chapter 3 of the NEC, which covers wiring methods and materials. In addition to expansion joints, other methods can be used to accommodate thermal expansion and contraction in conduit systems. These include using expansion couplings, which are similar to expansion joints but are designed for smaller amounts of movement, and using flexible conduit, which can bend and flex to accommodate movement. It is also important to properly support the conduit to prevent sagging or damage. The NEC specifies the maximum spacing between conduit supports based on the size and type of conduit. Proper support helps to distribute the weight of the conduit and the wiring within it, reducing the stress in the system. In the specific case of a mobile home feeder conduit, it is important to consider the grounding and bonding requirement. The NEC requires that all metal parts of the electrical system be properly grounded to provide a path for fault current to return to the source. This helps to protect against electric shock and fire hazards. The grounding conductor should be sized according to the NEC tables and should be properly connected to the grounding electrode system. Bonding is the process of connecting all metal parts of the electrical system together to create a low impedance path for fault current. This helps to ensure that all metal parts are at the same potential, reducing the risk of electric shock. The bonding conductors should be sized according to the NEC tables and should be properly connected to the equipment grounding conductor. In addition to the grounding and bonding requirements, it is important to consider the overcurrent protection requirements. The NEC requires that all electrical circuits be protected by overcurrent devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses. These devices are designed to interrupt the flow of current if it exceeds a safe level. The size of the overcurrent device should be matched to the ampacity of the circuit conductors. The ampacity of a conductor is the maximum amount of current that it can safely carry without overheating. The NEC provides tables that list the ampacity of various types of conductors based on their size and insulation type. It is important to select the correct size of conductor and overcurrent device to ensure that the circuit is properly protected. Furthermore, when installing electrical wiring under a mobile home, it is important to protect the wiring from physical damage. The NEC requires that wiring be installed in a manner that protects it from abrasion, impact, and other types of physical damage. This can be accomplished by using conduit, cable trays, or other approved wiring methods. The wiring should also be securely supported to prevent it from sagging or becoming damaged. The NEC also has specific requirements for the type of wiring that can be used under a mobile home. Generally, the wiring must be listed for use in wet locations and must be resistant to corrosion. This is because the area under a mobile home can be damp and corrosive. The wiring should also be protected from rodents and other pests that may damage the insulation. In summary, while an expansion joint is generally not required when transitioning from underground PVC to the feeder conduit of a mobile home, it is essential to ensure that the installation complies with all other applicable codes and regulations. This includes proper sealing support, grounding, bonding, overcurrent protection, and protection from physical damage. Adhering to these requirements will help to ensure safe and reliable electrical connection for the mobile home. When evaluating the need for an expansion joint, remember the formula for calculating expansion or contraction delta L equals alpha times L times delta T. If the calculated delta L is significant, then consider using an expansion joint. When working with electrical systems, always prioritize safety. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. An experienced electrician will be familiar with the NEC requirements and will be able to ensure that the installation is done safely and correctly. The National Electrical Code is updated every 3 years, so it is important to stay current with the latest changes. The NEC is a complex document, and it can be difficult to understand all of the requirements. However, it is essential to have a good understanding of the NEC to ensure that electrical installations are done safely and correctly. Many resources are available to help you learn about the NEC. These include textbooks, online courses, and seminars. You can also consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector for guidance. By taking the time to learn about the NEC, you can help to ensure that your electrical installations are safe and compliant. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself from electric shock and other hazards. Always to energize the circuit before working on it, and use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses. If you are unsure about any aspect of the electrical installation, it is best to consult with a qualified electrician. Furthermore, it's worth noting that local codes and regulations may vary. It is always advisable to check with the local authorities having jurisdiction, often the city or county building department, to confirm the specific requirements for electrical installations in your area. They can provide guidance on any local amendments to the NEC or any specific requirements that are unique to your region. This ensures that your installation not only meets the national standards but also complies with any local regulations that may be in place. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that the electrical system in your mobile home is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. This will provide peace of mind and protect your home and family from electrical hazards. Remember that electrical safety is paramount, and it is always best to err on the side of caution. If you have any doubts or concerns, consult with a qualified electrician.